A lot of books this week. Tons and tons of books this week. I think it's the most I've ever bought in one week. And it was a lot of, oh my God, what just happened? And it was a lot of, oh my God, that just happened. So many good things, some things I'm still confused about. Let's talk about it. Let's roll some intro. Hit it, boys. All right, like I said right before the intro, it was just a lot of books this week. I just could not say no. I don't know if that has more to do with me or the comic book industry at this point, but we got pages and pages of notes, so I may have to reference a few things so I don't get things like connected and all weird, and you're like, what is this guy talking about, right? So let's start off with our indie books, and let's talk about that. Right up off the bat, we get this great story arc conclusion from Sharky, right? Number 6. I don't know if you've been reading this. I think a lot of people dropped off of it pretty early when they kind of got the synopsis of it and how it was going to end. Is it predictable? Yes, but it's supposed to be predictable, or at least that's my argument of it. In this one, we finally, Sharky comes to the conclusion that he wants Extra Billy, that's literally his name, to actually be his like sidekick, bounty hunter as they travel through space. The terrorist who turned good person that Sharky and his ex-wife went to save actually asked to be dropped off on another planet. They gave some name, and it turns out that there's this tyrannical family that's ruining everything there and enslaving the people slowly, so she's got to be there for a while. And we find out that he actually dropped her off in Las Vegas, Nevada. Nice stab there, writer. That was pretty ingenious. I thought it was funny. But yeah, I like this. Apparently, Netflix has been picking this up. I hope they don't pick up. I hope they pick up where this story left off, and we don't get a whole lot of and we just get most of the comic book and flashbacks. If this does actually go to television, because I don't want to see the same story twice and have them ruin. Or I don't know, maybe they'll make it better. I don't know, but I really enjoyed Sharky. It was just great. Next is Second Coming. Now, I've been liking this kind of satirical look at Dogma overall. This one issue just seemed a little slower than normal to me. Not as many funny, witty jokes in it. Some funny stuff did happen. Like apparently there's a support group out there for superheroes, and they're kind of complaining about Sunman being the all hero in our Batman lookalike guy. He's kind of complaining about himself to some degree. So that was kind of weird. But then, like, there's this female who's like, oh, she's very plain and sassy at that point. And Sunman's trying to find Jesus, literally, not figuratively, like he's not praying. He's trying to find Jesus because he lost Jesus. And she's like, did you check prison? They're ignoring her. You need to check prison. Is he white? And they're like, not really. He's kind of brownish skin. You need to check prison, right? That kind of joke kind of played, and then of course he's in jail, and of course he's trying to talk to somebody in there and tried to show him. Somebody gave him a copy of the Bible, and he's like, I don't even remember anybody writing anything down when I spoke. So I thought it was kind of an interesting take on dogma and how it translates into written material, and how things can kind of get muddled after 2,000 plus years. Okay, I'll take that. But all in all, this just seemed more like a whiny issue compared to the actual funny stuff. We do have some funny stuff coming up. I'm sure we have Satan and God. They're going to sit down and have a talk in this ever eternal diner, I'm guessing, at some point. It was really funny to see God kind of dressed up like a trucker. That was kind of funny because it was actually kind of fitting. So definitely, I liked that read. Middle West has finally come to a conclusion, and in this we have some interesting things. We see Abel, our character there in the front. He's actually controlling his anger right now, even though he's been kidnapped and he's being enslaved. He's controlling his anger, and Dad's actually using his anger for the right reasons for a change, which was kind of refreshing. He actually does care about Abel to every degree possible, that he actually turned into a storm and he's stomping off because nobody will help him find his son. We also get our carnival and our wizard, a robot, and a fox. I'm telling you, only in comic book books where you get that combination. they're apparently going to go head to the farm that they're being held at. What's interesting is as you look through this book and you look at all the sources of energy, there's always this kind of glowing ball in there. We're kind of getting a reference of where they come through. I think they call it ethanol, and it's being grown. It's plant-based to some degree, and a bad guy enslaves the kids to work on it. And apparently the guy that enslaves, he's not a good guy. Imagine that. The guy that kidnaps kids for slave work, not the good guy. But I was really kind of shocked by this issue, although it was a very fast, short read. It wasn't a very long read, not a whole lot of dialogue involved in it, but we're getting closer and closer to understanding this, and I really like that. Moving on, Show's End. Oh, man, I love this book. We're on issue 3 right now. Our little girl right here on the front, names don't really matter in a review. She finds her place in the carnival, and she's what is known as a blade walker. This is actually an old carny trick that they used to do on Coney Island way back in the day. So it was kind of cool to see that in here. Also, you see a lot of the same sort of freak gags going on in here. The guy swallowing fire, somebody blowing fire, the whole 9 yards is in here. Mutated children that look like pigs, the whole 9 yards. You kind of get all that in here, and it's just fun. We also find out that she's actually pretty clever. She figures out a way to stop a bunch of people from killing their little pig-looking friend who's been pickpocketing guests, and decides to tell him about freak justice, which she just spun some stuff that she heard earlier that day and able to sell a bunch of rotten apples that the carnival was worried about the money. We also get our villain at the end of this one, who originally tried to buy the little girl. And apparently he's a fan of her, and he's obviously got some sort of dark carnival thing going on right now in the background. I'm looking forward to kind of see the character development of the villain in this, to find out what makes him so significant. Next, Tommy Gun Wizards. This is just another, I like The Untouchables, 1 as a movie, 2 as a book. And this is a great spin on it. In this one, we found out that Al Capone cannot actually do any type of magic, even if he takes the lick. And my dog's losing its mind right now. Hey, you want to give it a break? Hey, go lay down. Sorry about that. So Al Capone can't take lick, which lick gives you magical powers, which lick comes from the mucus of a frog, if you haven't been reading it. But his protector spell, which is this assassin guy, is say, I can give you power, but you need to free me kind of thing, because he's kind of enslaved to protecting him. The toad is some sort of something from another dimension. That's all we got from this point, but it's obviously magical. But it has a reason for what it's doing as well. It wants to go home. That's interesting. We also get some really cool bad guys. We find out that Alien S's wife can also wield magic as well, as long as she takes the lick. She protects her son from the black coats. I wish they would have done more with the black coats in this. Like it was, they were here and then they were gone, and they seemed like really cool figures. So that was kind of a letdown. But all in all, we're actually going to be squaring off. I believe the next issue is the last issue on this. So if you haven't been picking up, that's fine. Hopefully they put it out on trade. I think anybody that likes gangsters and magic, I think you'll like this. I'll make that assumption. Next is You Are Obsolete. This is issue number 2. Okay, so if you like Children of the Corn and you want a more updated technological version of it, this is your book. Unfortunately, it's not mine. I'm going to be dropping it after this. They're just taking too long to get to the point in this. And they kind of did like some high-end blackmail on the reporter here. Our reporter is she's a little bit of a freak. Like, she does coke. She's an alcoholic. Apparently, she loves her some porn. And she pees a lot. I don't know, I got video of her doing that. So, yeah, she's having a string of one-night stands in here. We got a little girl who's kind of leading the children in this one. She kind of looks like Wednesday Addams a little bit. So, all in all, I'm not saying it's a bad story. It's just when I'm thinking about where I want to spend my money. After reading this one, I was like, oh, is it predictable? If it is, if it isn't, am I really going to miss something? Probably not. So, moving on to DC. So, yeah, big stack of DC this week. Bam! Which I'm so happy. I think there was one week where it was like legitimately only 2 DC books that came out. So, it's good to see some DC out there. And we're getting some good stuff too. Freedom Fighters, huge fan of Freedom Fighters. I was able to get Freedom Fighters #1. One from Mike, Spectacular Spider Grandpa, shout out to him. And two, I picked up an extra copy of it at the Baltimore Comic Con. This is great. So Detroit has been freed. It's a manufacturing type city through the Condor who took the Plastic Man serum. So now he's like Plastic Man Condor character, right? But as Detroit freed, everybody got wind of it very quickly, and everybody's like rallying together, chanting America, and of course, this makes Uncle Sam stronger. He legitimately grows in this to show his power. So then they're going to go attack the Ratsies. Going to go get the Ratsies. And so now they're fighting back, which is good. There's a lot of good stuff in here. Doll Girl's in it. You got the human bomb, and as a last resort, Doll Girl tells the human bomb, "Hey, if worse comes to worse, just blow up at the max level." And he's like, "No, I won't. It will kill us all." And she's like, "We got to do it because freedoms." It was awesome. I really loved it. I thought that was great. Um, and then at the end here, we got, all right, I want to be sure I get this right. Hitler's son, right, is in charge right now because old Hitler's dead. And he's kind of weak, and he's like, no, we should just take the loss, and accept it. And grandson Hitler is like, 9, right? 9. And he actually kills his father and takes over. And he literally tells all the guards, I only want to hear 2 words right now. And they're all like, hell Hitler. Whatever, dude, just settle down. And of course, he's going to free Overman. Overman in this storyline is a cyborg, really, because the real Overman just kind of flew away. Will he come back? I'm sure he will, but so far right now, we're about to unleash Overman on the Freedom Fighter, so big battle about to happen in this. I enjoy it. Not a bad read. Next, Justice League Dark. As far as issues go, I think this was probably the weakest DC one I read this week. Although we had some great stuff going on, and it was kind of weird. So Eclipso, if you don't know, is addicted to magic. Like, he is a straight addict when it comes to magic. It makes him lose his mind. And he's pretty much omniscient to some degree, and for the most part. The great thing about Eclipso in this particular one, he actually kind of shows off his power a little bit. At one point, Zatanna gets tired of his talking and takes his mouth away, and he legitimately rips his face open to keep talking. It was morbid and great all at the same time. Our bad person is taking over the body of Wonder Woman at this point, so she can sneak in and destroy everybody. There's still this talk of the Underman and the other underworld happening in this, but we haven't really been doing much with it up to this point, so hopefully that will come. So yeah, as far as Witching Hour went, we got that same kind of magic feel going. There's somebody that's way too overpowered right now, and it's up to our Justice League Dark to shut that down. Bobo, Bobo kind of takes care of Man-Bat, who got manipulated with, took a monster formula, turned into a monster, and Bobo had to figure that out. And what does he do? He uses whiskey, because that's what whiskey does. It cures everything. It's great. Moving on, Black Adam. I thought this was an interesting issue. I don't really follow a whole lot of Black Adam and Shazam. I read it when it first relaunched and everything. But in this one, we got the Shazam that smiles or laughs, whatever we're calling him. He's in this one. And Black Adam knows that something's wrong with him. And he calls him a perpetual child. And he throws a temper tantrum, the whole 9 yards. But in this was great. What I found most interesting in this is Black Adam's trying to build a just society to some degree. But because it doesn't fit societal norms, of course, Billy Batson thinks that he's tyrannical and he's actually the good guy in this one, but he's evil, as we know. And he kept using things like, you don't even have skyscrapers or skate parks or paved roads, and he's going down this list of all this kind of facade type stuff, where Black Adam's trying to tell everybody, it's about community and faith. And actually the prayer is what ends up beating Billy Batson in this. All the people coming together and praying, because he actually started making sense at some point. That's the scary part. So what do you really get from this? You get the difference between intrinsic and instrumental, or if I can use a different term, foundation versus curb appeal, I think is the best analogy there. You get a lot of that in there, and I thought that was really smart the way the writer put that in there. I'm almost positive it was intentionally done. Next, we got Batman: Curse of the White Knight. Are you reading this? If Oh my God, comment down below if you are reading this. So this is all about pain, suffering, and revenge. The entire story thus far is. Think about it now. Azazel probably has a very good reason to be upset. He feels that his family's legacy has been stolen from him. Um, Batgirl father just got put in the hospital, probably going to die. So we need to fix that with a little revenge. And Batman's just losing control of everybody. Like the guy that usually has the answers and is in control. He's not in this. And it's beautiful. He's doing the best he can to make sure that nobody dies. He even at one point saves Azazel by stealing the gun from Batgirl. Um, I'm liking this. And, for all of his hard work, yeah. Another bat back is broken. Bat back is broken. Say that 3 times fast. Right? That's crazy. So yeah, this is good. And I really like this. And I really love what they're doing here at the end with this kind of nostalgic sketch art type stuff. Giving everybody these heroic poses. This is just good stuff. I'm enjoying this. It's a great story. Alright, so Detective Comics number 114. I'm on the fence with this one. We're going to have to talk through this. They had a missed opportunity in this. I think that's where we should start this. So Dr. Freeze raises Norma from his... Norma? Naomi? The dead lady in the tube. He gets her up and moving around and basically uses the same thing that he does to himself so she can animate herself. Right? And even at some point in here, where they go steal something from Wayne Tech, they even have a conversation where she's like, I remember you. You were a great and generous man, and yada, yada, yada. In the same instance, Dr. Freeze is also telling her about all the horrible things he had to do to keep her going. And at no point is she, shocked by any of this. It was kind of weird. And then we also got this great play at the end. I did like this at the end, this kind of normalizing everything in their lives, because she's a dancer, a ballerina dancer. He used to love watch her dance. I get it, but then we get this, where they basically just froze the entire audience in the place. That was so great. And of course, we end with a doomsday signal thing going on, which happened in Black Adam too. I should mention that. It doesn't make much sense to me. If we take a look at this as an addiction issue, right? Then technically his wife should be the enabler in this. Like, this is okay as long as you stay within these, whatever enablers do. It didn't come off that way. It kind of came off with, I'm unfrozen, you've done horrible things. I remember Bruce Wayne, how nice he was. Let's go rob some stuff. It just kind of seemed kind of rushed to me. I get what they were going with. All in all, I'm still on the fence. We'll see what happens on Blast or Stash It if I decide to stash or blast this, which is 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on YouTube. Everybody enjoys it. Have a live chat. If you've read this, let me know what you think inside. Moving on. Batman and Superman. I like this. Again, this is another one. I'm still on the fence on this one. I don't know. I might have to go back and reread it. I think is ultimately what I got to do. We did get, spoiler alert, we did find out who another infected superhero was, and it's the Blue Beetle. And I'll be honest with you, he is terrifying in this thing. It is definitely kind of creepy. It almost reminds me of that thing with the eyeballs in its hands from Hellboy in the face there. I don't know. It was weird. So yeah, this was really fun. It's really cool. There still should be, by my count, one more. And that's 2 if we're not counting the Batman Who Laughs himself. So there should still be one more. So if you don't know, we left off with Superman injecting the serum in him. That makes you turn into this metal character. And he's trying to get information. And of course, the Batman Who Laughs is already up to speed on all this because he's already plotted this all out, much like Batman would have. So, yeah, that happened. So they're trying to figure things out. They go to the Fortress of Solitude. They take some tech armor there. And, of course, the tech armor that was being worn by a villain is ultimately the Blue Beetle in disguise. And, yeah, that's what we're left with. That's why I'm kind of on the fence with this. They shoehorned that in so quickly, I think it kind of lost something. I don't know. And then we get this at the end. I think maybe that's Lobo, right? Like, that's Lobo, right? What does he have to do with any of this? Is Lobo even considered a hero? I thought he was kind of that in-between type character. Anyway, moving on. Of course, we're going to end up with this ending into the Year of the Villain, the Doom Justice War as well. All right, let's get through the marbles. Here we go. So, right up off the bat, let me tell you, my favorite series so far has been this Punisher Kill Crew. I almost don't want to tell you anything about it. Hopefully that will drive your interest and you'll rush out and buy this, because this stuff is wickedly awesome. So in this, of course, now we have a team with the Black Knight. They meet up with the Black Knight. He jumps on board. We got Froggy, we got Juggernaut, and we have the Punisher. We have the guy that's kind of running the carriage with the goat pulling the van. Every time I say that, I feel like I shouldn't be saying it. It's so weird. They're going through the cosmos trying to find all the bad guys and get rid of all of them. And they do. And it took very little convincing to get the Black Knight involved. But there's still one more they need to get. Just one more. And he's genuinely scared of the Punisher. That's why he's hiding out in a castle. Yeah, it was fun. So they break in to get him. They jack up all of his friends. But at the end of the day, yeah, Giant Man's got a rocket launcher. And he's doing some damage, right? He starts dropping bodies left and right. Nobody's really dead yet. But we're left with Punisher being cooked alive. This page right here. Froggy's got a bandana on. He thinks he's Rambo. Hopefully he can save him, but we actually catch him flying away. I don't know what that means. Maybe he's getting help. Who knows? I don't care. I want more of this. It's almost going to be sad that I believe the next issue is the last issue in this series. I don't know. Even if it's just Punisher putting together different crews through the MCU on a biannual base, or not, yeah, biannual, twice a year. And if they did that occasionally, I think it's a good fresh start here of them just going crazy and killing the bad guys. See how long something like that would last. I don't know, but it was definitely better than our next book. Avengers number 25, The Great Race of the... sorry, even trying to explain it, it gets boring. Of the Ghost Riders. Yeah. This is... I get it. I get by with a little help from my friends. Like, I get it, right? So Reyes and Ghost Rider are racing through hell to find out who's the ultimate Ghost Rider, because that's apparently what Ghost Riders do. Reyes technically lost the race, but the Avengers swooped in at the last minute, and they rush him off to the finish line. He wins. I guess the only thing that really came out of this is finally Reyes has accepted who he is, and he's cool with that now. Like, he's cool with being a Ghost Rider. So maybe we'll stop hearing him whine so much in every other book about the, I can't contain the power, blah, 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 blah. Hopefully that stops. And if it does, then I think maybe I can get on board with this Reyes character. Moving on. Spider-Man. Amazing Spider-Man. Yeah, number 32. It's too much. I get that Spider-Man has been classic comic book to stick as much stuff as you can get in it so the reader can feel the pressures that Peter Parker is going through. But it's too much. So if you don't know, this is going to be another launch of Spider-Man 2099 now. We have a villain we know very little about. We have several overarching stories dealing with Peter Parker's sister. We have Mary Jane in Hollywood in a movie. We'll talk about that book in a minute. We have the everyday idiosyncrasies of working with people inside of a university. And now we're going to go ahead and do another relaunch of Spider-Man 2099 in this one. Cool thing in this, we got Silver Sable, which was referenced in the Black Cat comic book number 1 this year. So, oh man, I wish I would have called that one. That would have been awesome. So yeah, we got that so far. I don't know. It's too much to talk about for one comic book. Speaking of Spider-Man and pointless stories, yeah, Mary Jane number 1. All right, so Mary Jane takes that job in Hollywood with some big acclaimed director. And come to find out, it's Mysterio. Like, I'll just go ahead and tell you. And their love affair. The movie's about Mary Jane and Mysterio's love affair, which never happened. So it's a delusional film. Cool thing about it is Six probably doesn't really like this movie being made, as they've caught on to some of the stuff that's going on in it. So they're probably going to have a talk with the cast and crew. Let's see where that goes. That's that's all that really happened in this. Oh, and Mary Jane pretty much rewrote the entire movie because that's what actors do to directors. They tell them how to make the movie. Okay, moving on. The weirdest book I read this week. Yeah, this is a 1 in 25 variant right here. Um, yeah, Immortal Hulk. Did you get it? Because I think I'm lost a little bit. In the majority of the book, we think that we're dealing with the entire universe and an alien race worried about this world breaker Hulk that's coming to crush everything. And then the last page is like everything was happening in the mind of a fly, and the brain guy was there, shocked and surprised. I, hmm, I'm not really sure what's going on here. Um, Beautiful book, beautiful, and I was really getting into it. Right, I was like, oh my god, we got another Galactus Hulk or something along those lines. And then no, it was all a play on perception at the end of it. So as far as Immortal Hulk books go, I thought this was probably the weaker of the ones that we've read thus far. Last but not least, Marauders. So, like any new developing country, you have to kind of rely on a black market. We did here in the US, Canada, all developing countries, when they first start, generally have some sort of black market. This generates economy to some degree. And this one, no, they're just stealing stuff that they want and rescuing people from other countries that have borders. Yeah, yeah. Purdy's a pirate. Like, seriously, she's a pirate in this one. And she's got the help of Storm because somebody's got to push them sails. Pyro's back, the Australian one, the good one. And Iceman in this, and thank God he's not as sassy as he was in his own show. So that was pretty cool. A lot of witty banter going on in here. I like the idea of them kind of playing off of swashbuckling pirates in this one, and Miss Purdy in this one. She's kind of inventive. Like, they don't kill people, but like she wounds two guys for like life. Yeah. And the whole reason why is because she can't go through the portals to Krakoa. Why can't she? We don't know. Apparently, this is a problem for some people um, that have abilities. It may have to do with some of the fact that she phases in and out of things and it can't recognize it, whatever the case may be. She can't go into the island, therefore, she can't live on the island. So that's obviously a problem. But Emma Frost being Emma Frost and understanding how e-commerce, or commerce, not e-commerce, commerce works, knows that they kind of need somebody sailing back and forth. And some of the borders, we'll call them borders, but they're not really, but they're just teleporters. So we'll call them teleporters. The teleporters that allow people to get to Krakoa. People aren't allowed to go to them because, one, they're illegal in the country. Like, you can't just say, hey, this is where my people come to my country. You can't do that. Yeah, and two, there's armed forces standing around that won't let citizens leave. So yeah, that's happening in this book. So all in all, and I mean that beautiful 1 in 25 variant there of Emma Frost, that's just gorgeous. So what do we got going on? We have a small Comic Con here in the Hampton Roads area of Virginia. I'm probably going to be going out one day to check it out. So I need your help. If you're going out to it, let me know tonight. It's Friday night, by the way. So it's Friday night. And I'll be getting up early in the morning. If you're going, let me know. Just comment down below or shoot me a message on Instagram. Love to be able to meet up with you, walk around. We can look at some of the local artists in the area. It's always a good time. Guys, that's almost 30 minutes. I still got some American Legion stuff to do, a little bit of work, and I got some things to do for my Masonic Lodge. So I'm signing off. But hey, don't forget, Sunday night, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on the old YouTube. It's the Blaster Statute. So myself, Huey, the Half Squatch, Spectacular Spider Grandpa, and Drew Manchu we're all going to sit around and review some books. Also, if you get the chance, definitely check out the GoFundMe page down in the description. Midwest Comic Man, we hope that you and your daughter, or more especially your daughter, we hope that she has a speedy recovery from her heart surgery, and our hearts and prayers go out to you and your family. The link to the GoFundMe page will be down below if you need any more details for that. Hey guys, this has been great. Talk to y'all soon. Bye.